Okay, welcome everyone to the fifth and final in this series of candidate forums. We are planning on doing one for our state races, and we're going to do that probably in July if I can get President Harline to agree with that. But we do welcome you here today. Today we sort of have a mixed bag, I guess you could say. We've got school board, and we've got the road superintendents, and then we've got very important race, the mayor's race is going to be our last ones we're going to hear from. So a little diversity that we're happy to host them. This is part of the Public Affairs Committee at the Chamber, and this event is being put together primarily for the members of our Chamber, and to give them the benefit of getting to set eyes on the candidates, get to hear about the candidates, get to learn about the candidates, and so that was the whole purpose of the meeting. And I see Vicki Bates is coming in. Come on in. And I was gonna recognize some of our school board members that we have here. Of course, we have Dr. Linda Cash with us, Amanda Lee's with us. Bill Winters, you're here today to support your mayor or whoever might be. Louis Alford's here. Nancy Cason is hiding in the back with her new knee. Mylan Blake is here. Who did I miss? Anybody? Kevin, you're over here in the corner. Good. I'm glad you could be here. You've made it to all of them, I think. So yes, thank you for your time. We're going to start today with the road superintendents, and I'm going to introduce Steve Hartline just 1 second. But we're missing a couple of our school board candidates, and we'll do the superintendents. And if they're not here, then we'll let Josh talk, and then we'll finish up with the mayors. So again, thank you all for your time and for being here. Steve Hartline.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. And thankfully, this is the last time we have to deal with you in these terrible, terrible afternoon sessions. Not for the candidates, of course. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are live from the Cleveland-Bradley Chamber of... You got any Clorox for this thing? For the Cleveland-Bradley Chamber of Commerce, and we're on Talk 101.3 The Buzz. We're on mixtv.tv, and honestly, these forums have been just tremendous, and we've got a lot of great feedback, both here at the Chamber and at the stations. So we also want to thank our friend Tim Senior at his tremendous coverage with the Cleveland Daily Banner. They're also here. We're going to begin with the Bradley County Road Superintendent candidates, and we're going to go once again in alphabetical order. So I'll introduce both of them and just come up. We'll begin with Tom Collins, and he's the challenger, and the incumbent is Sandra Norton Knight, and I'll introduce both of them. Make them welcome, would you? Tom, you're up first.
Thank you, Steve. I'm Tom Collins. I'm a run for road superintendent once again. I ran in 1998 and was fortunate enough to be elected. I served 16 years unopposed in all 4 terms. I set out since 2015, really. I stayed on 6 months after Sandra took office. But since 2015, I've been retired, hated about every minute of it. So I'm ready to go back to work. There's a lot of things probably that I could do that I know how to do, but I really think road work, road maintenance, road construction is what I know best. It's what I do best. And I know some of you are probably the biggest question you have on your mind right now is, why are you running? And probably most of you know Sandra and I once were married, and we're not anymore. And we've both moved on with our lives. I can't speak for her, but I know I'm very happy, have a new wife. I couldn't ask for life to be better. So that's not why I'm running. Being a road superintendent, and I guess most all retired superintendents are that way, you stay in tune, in touch with what's going on out here on your county roads, and I have. I've stayed very much in tune. I know basically almost every move they make over there. I keep up with it. It's important to me. If it wasn't, I never would have run to start with. But I don't like the direction that the current superintendent has led the road department. She's, in my opinion, used money, and I'm not going to say it's in the wrong places. It's probably in places that I would have chose not to have spent so much money. I tried to use our budget to make every dollar count. And if I could spend a dollar out on the roadway, making the road safer and better for the traveling public, that's what I was all about. It wasn't about me, and it wasn't about my employees. It was about the safety of the Bradley County roads and the traveling public. I never will forget, soon after I was elected, and I think Gary Davis went in the same year, and he became county mayor, and he called down there one morning and said, Tom said, we're requesting that all department heads make a mission statement for your department. And I sat down there a minute and I thought, oh my God, this could take weeks. But I shut the office door and I sat down and I just asked myself, what's the purpose of this road department? So probably within less than 30 minutes, I had a mission statement. And I think I might can still recite it. With a dedicated emphasis on safety, commerce, and environmental conservation, the Bradley County Road Department is committed to the transportation needs of today while preparing for the needs of tomorrow. And that's what I live by. I didn't just make up a mission statement. That was my mission with the road department. That's what we were all about. That's what our purpose was. And that's what I want to continue to do if I'm elected. I want to make sure that every dollar that we can put out on the road is put out on the road. And I'll be glad if I have time. I don't know how much time do we have.
How much time, Mike?
I mean, what I'm saying, I don't care to take any questions if you have any questions.
We can have, you can talk to people afterwards, but just make a statement, then we'll move on. We'll do questions at the end.
Okay. All right. But anyway, I'll give you a little background on me. I started in transportation in 1973 with the Tennessee Department of Transportation. I spent 12 years in the engineering and construction end of it. That's where you learn about building roads and bridges. And I had advanced as high as I could go without becoming a project manager. And by that time, in 1986, 86 or 88, they were pretty much wanting you to have a degree to become a project manager. And I understand that, and I think it's a good idea. But when I saw that, I didn't have a degree and not much hope of getting one, so I transferred over into maintenance as a superintendent of 3 counties, Hamilton, Bradley, Polk, and McMinn. And within a very short time, I became superintendent of a district, which was 5 counties, Hamilton, Meigs, Bradley, McMinn, and Polk counties. So with that being said, the construction end is great. It's great really to know the basics about a road, where they're at, where they came from. But really, a road superintendent, a road department, their basic duty is maintenance. And as I said this morning, I don't think I built even a mile of road while I was road superintendent. But I maintained, I think, 760 miles of road. So it's really all about road maintenance. And I think over the 16 years I was road superintendent, I think we accomplished a lot. I think we did what we set out to do, what our mission statement said. I thank you very much for your time. Appreciate your vote and your prayers and your support. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sandra Norton Knight, I see my baby brother did squeal in on 2 wheels on time. He said if he was late, that meant he got stopped and got a speeding ticket, so I'm hoping there's no speeding ticket.
I did pass the state trooper, but
Okay.
he couldn't catch me.
Okay. I am the road superintendent. I've been in there for 7.5 years, since 2014. Graduated from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville with a degree in civil engineering, major in construction, minor in transportation. Been a registered professional engineer for 28 years with continuing education required on all kinds of rules, regulations, products, everything like that each year. Before that, served as the county engineer and assisted a couple of different road superintendents in the process with design, construction, permitting, different things like that. But enough about me. I want to tell you about my team. If I didn't have the team I've got, I wouldn't be doing what I can do. And there's several things that are going on. We've got one that's gained his certification as a bridge inspector through the National Highway Institute of FHWA. It was an extensive course. Most of it was online. He has gone out and done the bridge inspections throughout the county. These are the ones that are less than 20 feet when you drive across them. And then he brings the reports back in and we review them and see, you know, which bridges it's more economical to rehab and which ones need to be replaced. So we've saved several dollars doing that instead of just pulling them out and replacing them. We also have 2 people that have gone and gotten their commercial, certified commercial sprayers for herbicides, pesticides, and growth retarders. With the legalities of today's world, you know how that is. You need somebody certified and knowledgeable in what they're doing. Can't just go out and spray and carry on from that. We have been certified through the state for our sprayers, so I'm very proud of them. Another thing we've done is a parts room, and I know we've been in the paper about why do we have this parts store? We don't have a parts store. We have a parts room. One of the first auctions I had as road superintendent, we had 3 4x4 cube boxes of filters and parts and stuff that we did not have any equipment that they fit. Because a box would come in, you'd take one out of it and you'd stick it up in the attic. You got an egg. So we ended up with that many different items that we could not use, so we sold those. And as part of one of the new state requirements, you had to have a fraud prevention policy, which is what we put in place. And as part of that, all of our parts are kept in one room. There's an inventory, spot inventory done weekly, detailed inventory done monthly. We know when products come in, we know when products go out. And as part of this too, our mechanics, we have 2 ASC certified mechanics now. They do the work orders through a Fleetio system where they can input all the information. It's tied to all the dealerships, so it shows up all the recalls, anything like that. So all of our vehicles are in top notch. We take care of them so that they last longer. And it's been a great thing. We routinely run 9 mowers, 3 long arms, 2 short arms, and 4 side mowers. We're hoping in the budget this year we get another money for another short arm. These are the shorter arm that has a kind of a hook in it where you can get behind the guardrail. Makes it easier to mow through there and just helps with sight distance issues for the traveling public, things like that. They mow in 3 areas. There's 2 mowers that stay in each of the 3 areas all the time, and then the 1 long arm. And they go through the winter also to try to keep things cut back so that in the spring it looks good. We also have tree removal. Of course, that's a lot, you know, with the storms and things like that, with the cutting the trees hanging over the right-of-way, ones that have fell, things like that. One of the new regulations that came out, the ADA requirements, and I know everybody's knows about the ADA and having everything accessible and the different things that you have to put up with. This one was tied to our state money. If you didn't do the ADA policy, then possibilities of losing all your state aid, bridge money, and paving money. So we got our plan, we got it turned in. I think Adam was doing it for the mayor and compiled it, or maybe it was Lindsay, compiled it all and got it sent in. So, and that was one of the things with our new office where we moved. The new office is all ADA compliant. The house we were in was not. It was a good time to move because the county actually gave us $150,000 for the house so they could use it for the tri-state. So it was a good move on all parts. We're all in one location now. Makes it easier for our family to communicate on a daily basis all the time. The past couple years, we've had 2 slides that we've stabilized. We just did one on Owl Hollow Road. We used a new technology with the soil nails. If you go down through there, you'll see where we've put a new wall and the guardrail and everything. And that one was a touchy situation because if it slid, it would slide down into the creek. So it had to be done from the top to stabilize that whole area. There was another one we'd done, but it was easier to come from the bottom. We've got a couple of places we're doing sinkhole repairs. We have gotten Geo Services, have done a lot of testing. We're partnering with UTC. Some of their students, their graduate students, are helping us out with repair initiatives and things like that. So that's been a great learning activity with that, and we really appreciate their help on that. As I said, there's a lot of new laws, rules, regulations, and that's why it's so important for not only me for continuing education, but for the whole team continuing education. It just helps everybody, makes you aware of what's out there and being able to talk to other people in the same situation. So I really thank you for all the support that you've given me, and I just ask for your vote on May the 3rd. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. If you're just tuning in, we are live from the Cleveland-Bradley Chamber of Commerce, where we have our final Chamber Public Affairs Forum. And again, they're all available. You can go back and watch them at mixtv.tv. And we definitely appreciate you joining us. We're also on the radio at Talk 101.3 The Buzz. Now, let's go to the Bradley County Board of Education in the 4th District. And this is an open seat. This is the seat currently held by Troy Weathers. And so we will go in alphabetical order. And let me see, we're going to begin with Bartley Norton and then Josh Taylor. And they'll come, you just guys come up in that order, okay? Make them welcome, would you?
Well, good afternoon. How is everybody today? Well, that just sounded fantastic. Well, listen, I'm so grateful to be here with you today. Like he said, my name is Bartley Norton. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. So first of all, I'm a resident of Bradley County my entire life. Not only that, but I have actually lived on the same road my entire life. Now, some may say, did you just never leave home? I did, but even when I got married, I just moved down the street because I love the road that I live on. I'm a die-hard Bradley County person. Now, I went to Taylor Elementary School, where my father served as the PTO president when I was just a young kid. And I watched him do a lot in the school system. I watched how he brought the walking track first to Taylor Elementary School. That was something that was needed. Then he brought in 2 more buildings to help with education that are still there today. And that just sort of showed me that there is something valuable about investing in the community that you live in. Now, Taylor Elementary is a small community. It's a country community with country folks that are simple. And it's one of the things that I love best about the place that I live. Simple folk. However, the 4th District, as you know, is very important to all of Bradley County. We service 4 major schools now. Now, when I was a child, there was only 3, but now there's 4. So we have Parkview, we have Taylor, we have Oak Grove, and we also have Michigan Avenue. All great schools. All are heavily invested in the communities that they reside in. So, you may ask, why do I have any interest at all in running for school board? Well, one of the things is this. I believe that if you choose to give back to the community that you were raised in, something great stands to have an opportunity to succeed. We are born to be future leaders. And that's something that I've always thought was valuable. That's something that my father taught me, something that my mother taught me, something that my siblings taught me. If you want something, go after it, but understand why you're going for it. So, I did go to Taylor. Then I went on to Truett, which is now Lake Forest, another great school. Went on to Bradley, which is phenomenal. And then I had the opportunity and pleasure of attending Lee University, which was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Now, I will tell you this. I did not want to go to Lee University. I wanted to go to UT. I'm a diehard Orange Vols fan. Just love it. But my mother begged me to give one chance, one semester, to see if I would like Lee. One of the greatest decisions I ever had. In that opportunity, I had the opportunity to travel all over the world, ministering in the gospel, but also at the same time seeing what other cultures had to offer. And you learn a lot when you leave your home to go away and then you come back. You begin to appreciate some of the small things that maybe you didn't realize. It's important to me that you have a great educational standpoint. That is something that's very valuable. But also some of the common sense things, not just book smart, but just real down-to-earth people that are making a difference every day, that may not have a lot of money, they may not have a lot of experience, but it doesn't mean that they don't have a lot to offer. When you're looking at someone looking to run for the school board, I know there's a lot of different things, and Josh will tell you, there's a lot of great candidates running in just this race alone, candidates that you could be proud of, no matter who you voted for. And that's a great opportunity that stands within the 4th District. But I want to tell you that I'm running not because of things that are just happening or things that I'm going to do, but because of some of the things that I've been doing for the last 10 years. For instance, I am the president of something called the Bradley County Youth Basketball All-Stars. Something that I'm extremely passionate about is sports. I love sports. Why? Because it gives you as a coach the opportunity to mentor young men and young women to be great at what they do. Not only on a court or on a field, but even more so after. I often say this, it's not just what we teach on a court or on a field that matters, because all of our games are going to end at some point. So what are we teaching them about the gift of life that's going to help them to grow up to be even better young men and young women? In the last 10 years, I've had the privilege and the honor to build multiple outdoor basketball courts at almost every elementary school in Bradley County to promote health and wellness, not only to the students that reside in those schools, but also to the communities that they reside in. I've driven by many a times past Michigan Avenue or, Taylor or Black Fox. And during the summer times, I see so many families out there playing. I drove by just this last summer, Valley View, and watched so many people visiting that court in that park playing ball. Hey, listen, if I could do anything to get families an opportunity to come back together and do something fun, wouldn't it be worth it? Isn't that what we all strive to do, is just to find a sense of community, to find a sense of family, to set the phone away for just a moment, to be able to remember that we're loved and that we're loving someone? So I think that's a great opportunity. Something else that I helped with is at Bradley High School, there was a lot of drainage issues. They're trying to figure out how to fix the track. The tennis courts were having pretty rough trouble because we just had a lot of water runoff. And so I spoke to the principal, Patrick. Now, we go way back. We played basketball together there at Bradley. And he said, is there anything you can do? So thankfully, I happen to know somebody that just happens to be in the business of knowing how to help with stormwater damage and control. And so I made a very important call to this lady right here, my sister, and said, can you help me fix some of Bradley? In less than a week, somebody showed up and started clearing out the back drainage problems. And it's already looking better, and now the tennis courts are coming in. I'm so excited for the kids at Bradley. I think it's going to be a great opportunity. Just the little things. So I'm not asking you to look at me as far as what can I do moving forward, but also what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And that's being involved from an elementary standpoint, from a middle school standpoint, and also from a high school standpoint. I look forward to the opportunity of not serving, but continuing to serve our schools in Bradley County. I think it's something that's important. Not only sports, but education. Supporting the teachers. I'm sure that you're very well aware that being a teacher is an extremely difficult job. It just is. It's not always fair. It's not always easy. They don't always have the best pay, but they definitely put up with a ton of things. They're miracle workers. I'll just tell you, I don't know how they have the patience that they do. How do I know this? Because I was one of those kids that my teachers prayed, dear Lord, please help me with this child. But I'm so grateful. I'll end with this. I was asked the other day, I believe it was Steve that actually might have asked me, and said, If there was any teacher that you could remember that did something great for you out of all the years, what would it be? I'll tell you this, I did not like history. I just could not get excited about history. But when I became a senior at Bradley High School, I had a teacher that changed my perspective. Her name was Miss Martha Frazier. She was my history teacher. I'll never forget, I did a great job there in that class, to the point that I also didn't want to miss any school, because I knew that if I had perfect attendance, I wouldn't have to take the final exam. So I was excited, because my mother didn't let me out of school even if I was dying. She just put me in the car and told me, you're going to class. So I made it all the way to the end of the school year. I had no missed classes, perfect attendance. I thought, I've got this made, I'm getting ready to graduate, I'm getting out of here, my college career is here. And she goes, hey, I need to ask you a question. I said, sure, Miss Frazier, what can I do? And she said, I want you to take the final exam. What? She said, I want you to take the final exam. I said, but Miss Frazier, I've had perfect attendance. Why should I have to have a final exam? She said, because I want to challenge you to see what did you retain over this past year. I said, but Miss Frazier, let me remind you, I only have two days to prepare. She said, you've been preparing for days. You can do this. Greatest challenge I had, and because of that, I aced that exam. I was very appreciative, and I'll never forget it, because I wasn't a number to Miss Frazier. I was a person. And that's what I want to be to the community that I serve. I want to be a person. I want to be somebody that you can count on. I want to be somebody that you can communicate with. So, with that being said, my name is Bartley Norton. I'm running for the 4th District School Board, and I sure would appreciate the opportunity to serve you and have your vote. Thank you for your time.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm Josh Taylor, and I'm running for 4th District Board of Education there for Bradley County also. I'm going to try to stick with my notes here this afternoon, because usually I don't have many notes, those of you that have heard me speak before, and what happens is I just eventually just talk long enough till I cover all my points. But for everybody's time purposes today, I'm going to be mindful of that, and I'm going to stick with my notes. But, I'd like to begin by saying that I'm a Christian. My faith in God guides everything that I do in life. I'm a pastor of New Beginning Fellowship Church there in the 4th District. I'm a husband and a father. I'm a conservative Republican who believes that family values still matter and that we should be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. I have an undergraduate degree in accounting and business administration and an MBA from Lee University, and I'm proud to be a lifelong resident of the 4th District and a businessman who has helped to build our family business since the 80s. I'm involved in our community already because it has been my home. I'm proud of our school system and the amazing work that is already being done across our entire county and our district. And I'm a proud product of that Bradley County Schools. And as an alum, and now a parent of 3 students, I couldn't be more excited about what the future holds for us as a county. So I'd like to talk to you about a couple different things that people have brought to my attention as I've been walking and doing some door knocking and meeting some different folks there in our district. One is communication. I want to begin by saying that the board does a great job already, but if I didn't think that there was room for improvement, or I didn't have something that I wanted to do or to contribute, then there wouldn't be a whole lot of reason for me to run. So I'm not knocking the board by any means, but I'm saying that communication is an important thing. Communication is really kind of a key, and I've noticed that as I've been talking to people, that a lot of people don't even really realize who that their school board member is or who that they can go and talk to, particularly in our district. Well, I want to address that, and one of the ideas that I have is maybe doing some type of meeting inside the community, or doing some type of handout or flyer that kind of outlines this information. I know this already exists on the websites for the county, but to be more proactive in nurturing those relationships. As a school board member, I want to be accessible not only to other board members, but I want to be accessible to the entire community. I think parents have a say in their child's education. And I want to be a board member who parents feel comfortable bringing their concerns to, but also bringing their praises to. There's a lot to brag about in Bradley County, and I want to be that type of board member. I also think that teachers are the front lines of our school system, and I think that in talking to many of them, that some of them feel as though that relationships between them and the board needs a little bit of nurturing. Not that it's not there, but just a lot of times because of busyness of the day and different things that things are overlooked unless there's some type of an event or a situation. So rather than just approaching during that time, I want to be the type of board member that is more proactive in the community as a whole. With them being on the front lines, they know the things that work with our children and they know the things that don't work. And if we can help to better understand their point of view, I think it would be advantageous to each of us. I had an opportunity a few years ago with Lee University as we were touring some of the manufacturing facilities that were newly adopting lean processing. I won't go into all of that, but one of the things that they noticed is that when they talked to their frontline workers, they were able to cut their production cost and production time. And I know that's in the private sector, but I think these are ideas and things that we can even use and adopt even into the education system. These frontline workers, it's important to communicate with them. I also like to talk to you today about funding. I believe as a board member, we are tasked with a heavy responsibility of being a good steward of taxpayer money. About 62% of the tax base there in Bradley County is handled by the Board of Education. It's important that you have somebody there that is responsible and is a good steward of that. And part of that responsibility is having an understanding of exactly where the money comes from. Currently, the school system is operated under a BEP funding formula. Pretty complicated formula that comes down from the state, and then the other part of that funding comes from the commission itself, which is kind of what we'll refer to as a maintenance of effort or MOE. And rather than get bogged down in that, the reason I'm talking about that is all this BEP funding is changing. So this money coming from the state is changing, which is going to change how that the county has to fund the school systems as well. Now, this hasn't happened yet. Our legislators are currently working on it and talking about it. But with this new funding, this TISA is often how it's referred to, but it's the Tennessee, I've got a note here, Tennessee Investment in Student Achievement. So with this BEP formula that hasn't been changed in some 30 years, and now a new funding formula coming, there's some new challenges that lie ahead. And I want to be a part of finding that solution. I want to be a part of that responsible planning. Growth is happening. It's already taking place. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but as it grows, we need to grow responsibly and financially responsibly especially. So I want to be a part of that. I think it's going to be vital to the success of our students. Another topic that comes up oftentimes is curriculum mandates. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that I do not approve of CRT. That's a common question that I've got several times. And I believe that our state legislators have done a good job in protecting our schools from this, and I look forward to continuing to help to guard against that. I think it's important to the curriculum in our that the curriculum in our schools matches up with what our values are as Bradley County. I will stand against government overreach and any liberal influence on what our students are taught. We know what is best for our students here in Bradley County, and I believe that wholeheartedly. I share the conservative family values that you do. We're all from the same community. And I think together we can keep those values part of our kids' education. When talking about this, I also want to talk about the safety of our students. Safety of our students is of the utmost importance. The commission has done a really good job with that. In fact, over the last 3 years, a little over $500,000 has been invested solely for the safety of our students. And as a school board member, I want to continue this same focus and diligence in maintaining the safety of our schools and keeping our kids out of harm's way. It is important as the school system to provide expansive list of opportunities for our students to grow, thrive, and succeed. This is another area of concern that people talk about is educational opportunities. And there are many people that will pursue a future in college or university, and it is important that we plan and provide for opportunities that allow them to do just that. But others, however, are not as interested in the university path or choice, and we must provide opportunity for them also. Currently, Bradley County Schools has made a large investment for these students, including the Pie Center. We've all heard and discussed the Pie Center, seen wonderful pictures of it. But the Pie Center will allow students who do not have intention of pursuing higher education to develop a skill set that not only allows them to find a job, but allows them to find a career. And as a board member, I want to make sure that students are exposed and presented with all the opportunities to ensure a future of success. In closing, I'll say this. Early voting starts tomorrow, and Election Day is just around the corner. I urge everyone to get out and vote. I want to remind you again that I invested in our school system. I am qualified to serve you. I will work hard for our students, and that I humbly ask for your vote.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live from the Cleveland-Bradley Chamber of Commerce, our political forums as we've been holding with the Public Affairs Committee of the Cleveland-Bradley Chamber. Again, you can go back. This is our 5th and final forum. You can go back on Mixed TV at mixedtv.tv. And we are on Talk 101.3 The Buzz this afternoon. Also, our final race we're spotlighting today is for Bradley County Mayor. And we'll do these in alphabetical order, and I'll introduce both of them now. We'll hear first the incumbent, D. Gary Davis, and then the challenger, Commission Chairman Johnny Mull. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Hartline. Welcome everyone that's here today, and I do want to apologize to those watching on Mixed TV. After we had our debate last week, the first comment I got was, well, Gary, you have a face for radio. And I said, well, that's Hartline's fault. It's Hartline's fault. He put those cameras in the back of the room like he's done again today. So I do apologize if you're watching on Mixed TV. I like radio a lot better. You know, anytime that I'm down at the chamber, I'm often reminded of all of the successes that we as a community have had here in Cleveland and Bradley County over the years, bringing new businesses to our community. Anybody excited about Popeyes? Sorry, Mrs. Winters, but Popeyes, come on, Popeyes. I wish everyone wouldn't go to Malfunction Junction, but I can't help that. But these businesses wanting to come to Cleveland and Bradley County, it's great, it really is. Partly because of all of our industrial efforts over the years. They're wanting to come here because they see us as a successful community. They want to be a part of it. We're a growing community. They want to be a part of it. And they don't usually talk to me about where to go, or I send them somewhere besides Paul F. Parkway. But anyway, I'm proud of those industrial efforts. Like Josh said, I have notes because I can talk for hours about Bradley County, but you get very bored and I would ramble a lot. And I love the outdoor court idea. I also attended Taylor's, and when I was there, that's where we had to play our ball games. Boy, haven't we come a long way in Bradley County. We played on an outdoor court until finally a gym was built, I think by the Taylor's Rutan, I believe, is how it was built at the time. But the industrial efforts over the years, working to bring companies like Buckner, and yes, I know that's old news now, but I'll still brag about it. The largest investment in the history of Bradley County. Bringing Buckner here. What have you done for me today? More recently, things like Cannon Automotive, and the list will continue, I promise you. Keeping longtime companies here has been a lot of work. Working with Whirlpool not once but twice. Twice they were about to leave Cleveland and Bradley County. Our largest employer was about to leave. We worked to keep them here not once but twice. That's something I'll always brag about. And working with companies, again, like Buckner, who's already had their first expansion, and people like Olin threatened to leave to go South Georgia, but instead they chose to stay here in the wonderful Cleveland and Bradley County and completely rebuild their facility here. Wonderful news. And then we continue to work with existing companies on their expansions. Like I said, Whirlpool's already expanded. Others will be expanding in the near future. Mike Griffin's here, so some of those things I can't talk about, but that's okay. We will be having other announcements in the near future, I assure you. We'll continue to look for opportunities to partner with the city, surrounding counties, and the state to attract more good industry jobs. We changed the culture in recruiting industry. When I came into office, every county competed. It was cutthroat. Cities competed. Chattanooga was our biggest problem. They would down us like crazy because they wanted everybody in Chattanooga. They finally figured out they weren't going to get everybody. And it all changed when a group was working to bring Volkswagen to this community, really 10 miles from the Bradley County line. Finally, they started to realize that, and the culture began to change. As chairman of the development district for several years now, we've worked on changing that culture, and that's why we've been so successful. We recruit industries to the southeast Tennessee area. If we can get them in this area, we're all going to benefit. Volkswagen, not in Bradley County, but we benefit. We have as many people working there as Hamilton County. It's a tri-state manufacturing facility. Bringing Buckner to Bradley County, Macmillan County was at the ribbon cutting and the groundbreakings. They have people that work at Buckner. So we recruit industries to this area, and that's what makes us successful. Proper financial management procedures continues to help our county. We work very hard on the financial management of the county, which is probably the number one hat that I wear. It's not as much fun as working to recruit industry, but proper financial management is very important in securing the lowest interest rates possible. We were an A-, then we were an A, then we were an A+, now we're a AA bond rating. That's as high as you can get a county our size. But we'll continue to get better, and hopefully before we go out of office, we'll be at a AAA. But right now, that's almost impossible because they base it on your total revenues. What does the AA bond rating mean to a community? Well, over the last 20 years, we've averaged 1% on interest. That's because of a good bond rating. As we're out walking through the neighborhoods of our communities, I love door knocking. That's a lot of work. It's not a lot of fun, but I love doing it. And why? Because I'm reminded why I work so hard for the people of Bradley County, the taxpayers of Bradley County, because I believe staying grounded with the people you work for is very important. Knowing what the people that you work for want and expect out of you is very important. As the county's chief financial officer, I'm proud to have brought conservative values to that role over the years. I've always proposed a balanced budget. No matter what you read, I've always proposed a balanced budget to the county commission, and one that did not require a tax increase. And I will continue to do that, lead with conservative fiscal policies, meeting the needs and services our citizens have come to expect while being responsible stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. It's their dollars. We work for them. Over the next 3 weeks, you have a choice to make, not just between two people, but between two different visions for our county. As I've shared, my plans involve keeping your taxes low, that's for sure, while continuing to provide the services you've come to expect from county government. But it also involves growing responsibly by investing in critical infrastructure like broadband, water, and sewer. That's how we will continue to grow. The guy with the sign language in the back, I don't know what these things mean. I wish he'd just hold up a sign that said 5 minutes or whatever. Anyway, it also involves working with our county commission, the city and state, to continue building an environment where people want to live, work, and raise a family. People want to come to Bradley County, folks, for a good reason. And like I said the other night, that's not by mistake. Not only have I laid out a plan, you've seen it in action the entire time that you've allowed me to serve. And don't forget, I have always remembered who I work for, the taxpayers of Bradley County. But folks, it's evaluation time. Think of it as an evaluation. Have I done the job you elected me to do? Yes, I have. Many of you are employers. As an employer, you would not fire an employee who's doing a good job just because somebody else wants that job. You would never do it. If you got a good employee, you want to keep them. I've been a good employee. I've done the job I told you I would do. I said I would work hard every day to do everything I possibly could to make Bradley County an even better place. It's not about me. It's about being part of a team. I love to be on the front row watching it happen and being a part of a team that makes it happen. I think that meant my time was about up, even though I cannot keep up with his sign language. But you do a great job back there. I was watching him with the others. I'm saying, I can't even tell what all that means. But I truly want to say it's indeed an honor and a privilege to serve, as I always say, the most wonderful people in the world right here in Bradley County. It's an honor and a privilege to work for you. I ask for your continued support to only do one thing, to allow me to continue to work for you, the people that I work for in this position as county mayor. I leave with this thought. Experienced conservative leadership matters. You hear that often. Experienced conservative leadership matters now more than ever, I assure you. Thank you.
Those lights are bright. A bald man's not a good thing for lights to shine on your head. First of all, thank you so much to Mike and the Chamber for having us here today to speak. It's always an opportunity to talk to people what's going on in the community and important decisions that are going to be made about the future of our community. So thank you for that. I appreciate Steve for doing this too. I don't like to give him too many accolades because it goes to his head, but thank you anyway, sir. I'll try to stay to my 5 minutes because the guy in the back is getting mad. I can tell the longer he stands up, he gets upset about this, so we're going to take care of that.
Johnny, nobody's hit five, everybody's gone over 5.
Well, thank you for that. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm also a native Bradley County resident. I've lived here all my life except for when I went to college at the University of Memphis. It was Memphis State back at the time. I went to college there, and I couldn't wait to get back here. I've been a 35-year educator, now in my 36th year of education, which blows my mind to think it's going by that quickly. I was a teacher and a coach at Bradley High School for 12 years. I coached football and girls softball and taught history. And then I took an opportunity to go into administration at the central office 23 years ago. And I made that transition. I always thought I wanted to teach and coach, but I made that transition to go into administration for one simple reason. I had a daughter that was born at that time. And I knew I coached football, and it takes a lot of time, and I knew I was not going to spend a lot of time with my daughter if I continued to coach football. A lot of coaches that I knew had some regrets about the times that they had with their daughter. So I made the decision to go into administration and have done that. At the central office the past 23 years, it's energy supervisor, and now it's transition to operations supervisor, which basically is a glorified firefighter who goes around putting out fires for Dr. Cash on various situations. That's what I do. In 2014, I was elected to serve on the county commission in 3rd District, Seat B. Brian Smith had been in there as commissioner. He was going to step down, and he contacted me and asked me if I would consider running. So I stepped up and decided to do that. I ran again in 2018, was unopposed, and I was blessed by the commission to coach. Louis Alford had been chairman for a long time, and he stepped down, and the commission put their trust and faith in me to be chairman of the commission, which I've served as chair for the last 4 years. I'm very proud of the accomplishment that this commission has made during that time for the last 8 years. I could name many things, but Spring Branch Industrial Park I think is huge to allow the funding network for that to happen. I think that's going to be a huge success for our community when we talk about industry and recruiting those in. The Brian K. Smith Workhouse that we put in place so we can get people to transition from that and go into work so they don't have to take up our jail space and can go out in the community and do things for misdemeanor crimes. The Lake Forest new academic building's not new anymore, but it's new to us, and it's a beautiful facility. If you've ever been out there, it's great. We've been able to increase salaries for firefighters, 2 energy projects, one in Bradley County Schools and one in the courthouse and the courthouse annex and part of the jail. Purchase of the old American uniform for $2.2 million. That had been sitting there for a long time, and we purchased that with a vision for the Pie Center. It wasn't our vision, it was the school system's vision, and we caught that vision and decided to step in, which I think will be transitional to our community, as has been said before. We were able to purchase new patrol vehicles and computer upgrades at the Bradley County Sheriff's Office. Those were important because they were so old that they were in danger of being cyber bullied, attacked, and we couldn't protect our own jail. We were able to do a water feasibility study, demolition of old McDonald's schools, Waterville schools, and the pod buildings at Lake Forest. Added 9 additional firefighters, put seed money at Cleveland State for the newly opened health education building there, and 2 additions at Black Fox Elementary and Northley Elementary. Took a lot of students out of closet spaces and auditoriums and things that weren't ideal for classrooms, so I'm proud of those things. Folks, I believe we are at a tipping point in our community, a crossroads, if you will. We're a growing community, and I'm concerned about the vision for our future. I'm concerned about where we're going to go in 5 years, what we want to look like 10 years, 15 years. What do we want this community to look like? This growth that's taking place, how do we control it and kind of negotiate it and move it around to make it look what we want it to look like? While we do that, I think we want to keep that small town feel and keep the values that we all adore here of faith and family. That's a huge challenge. To do that, I believe we have to invest in what I call the 4 pillars of any community. Those are public safety and first responders. We have a huge challenge there right now. We cannot keep those people in positions because they are not adequately paid or their benefits are not up to par. That is going to make us a community that could become a crime scene, and I got my first thing. Quality education, continue to do the things like I've mentioned before. In education, I like the route that we're going. We'll continue to do that, and the transition it's going to make for the Pie Center. Infrastructure, broadband, roadways. Traffic is becoming a huge issue in Bradley County. You know, we have what we call a APD 40, a bypass that goes from exit 20 to really exit 25. It's basically a U. You know, it'd been wonderful if years ago some forethought would have been, what if we'd taken it completely around the community? What if we'd worked with the state to do that? What would have developed off of that? Economic development. Obviously, with the Chamber Industrial Development Board, we'll continue to work to bring in more industry to offset the taxpayers and what they have to pay. Folks, we are a good community, but we're not a great community. There was a book that was written several years ago called Good to Great. I think you can always strive to be great. My view is to have Bradley County's name on it, we need to strive for excellence and be great in everything we do. How do you do that? You do that with collaboration, with community leaders, city leaders, those in this room, community, and determine how you get there. Folks, we can't continue to plan for only a year at a time. That is managing, and there's a difference between a manager and a leader. A leader casts a vision. He or she inspires others to share that vision and implements a plan to achieve that vision with collaboration of all its stakeholders. Then it becomes our vision, and we work together to see it happen. I believe it's time for a change and a new vision for Bradley County. Status quo is no longer good enough. Vision for our future, hope for today. I humbly ask for your prayers, your support, and your vote starting tomorrow through May 3rd. Thank you. May God bless Bradley County.
And that is that. We have had 5, yeah. You know what? It wasn't funny the first time. By the way, Aaron Weatherford has become the villain of this entire program. Give him a hand, everybody. Aaron Weatherford. Now, we, in all sincerity, thank you so much to the Cleveland Bradley Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to the staff, to the entire idea for this. Griffin and I, we dreamed this up on the tennis court, actually, a couple of months ago. And yes, I destroyed him. We are so glad, though. Thanks to the candidates. Let's give all the candidates a hand. My goodness. Wow. 5 of these the last few weeks. Again, you can watch all of them. Go back on mixtv.tv. We're also right now on Talk 101.3 The Buzz, and we do appreciate it. Thanks again to the Cleveland Daily Banner, Tim Senyard, wonderful coverage. Early voting begins tomorrow, and we're looking forward to that the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, Election Day on May the 3rd. Some 88 candidates this time. And, of course, we want you at Mix 104.1 and Mix TV to be informed and to understand as much as you can about the candidates, the issues, and what they stand for. And, of course, the bottom line is vote. All right, thank you very much for all of us. Good day.